Mm, 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 mm.
Hi, this is Lejeune with Lejeune Singleton LLC, Fitness, Nutrition, and Wellness. Today's topic is the arts and wellness. I would like to introduce singer, songwriter, podcaster, and interior designer, Anita Nicole. Thank you for joining me, Anita.
Hi, I'm so excited to be on your podcast.
So, can you give me a background on who Anita is? I'm sure the listeners are hearing your accent and would like to
You're
know where you're
so
from.
funny. Right, so my name is Anita Nicole. I'm from London. I am a podcast host. I recently started a series called All or Nothing, which I started to basically talk to people in various different media forms. It can be music, acting, doctors, not just media, but like any form of job or career that they do that they give their all or nothing to. And it was really important to me to get everybody's side of the story that's ever been through a trial or tribulation, and to like really dissect what goes through their mind when they give their all to their job and their story. I feel like All or Nothing kind of represents you as a person. If you have that mindset, like, you never give up, you always give your all to every situation. And it says a lot about these people I've met, because they all have a common thing. They have a common denominator that's running through them. So yeah, I've really loved sharing stories about powerful people on my podcast. What else? I used to be a singer-songwriter, so I had a brief stint with Warner in
Mhm.
like 2015, 2016. That was so much fun. I've been singing since I was like 12 years old, so it was amazing to go through that. And then yeah, now I do a bit of interior designing, and yeah, just living my best life, celebrating being a young girl and enjoying each day as it comes.
Okay. And when did you start writing music?
Ooh, I probably started writing music when I was like probably around 12, I would say. I remember my first studio session was like in an area called Kilburn in London, and my brother took me. I was like 12 or 13 at the time, and I recorded the Jackson 5 and Mariah Carey's "I'll Be There." But I did
Hmm.
Mariah's version. I think I literally got on CD somewhere. I recorded that, and I think another song. And I remember us like shipping it out to like managers and everything at the time. And then like I think I just signed up for Sylvia Young, which is a really good performing arts school in London. So I went on the weekend. They also do a full-time school, but I just did weekends because it was really expensive. But like Rita Ora went there. Yeah, loads of English talents went there. And then I remember being 16 and still wanting to go to Sylvia Young, but discovering the Brit School, which is where Leona Lewis went, Adele, Jessie J,
Oh,
Amy Winehouse. So I was like, it's the only free performing arts school in England, I believe, actually. And yeah, I really wanted to go there. My mum was like, you cannot do both. You can't be going to Brit School and Sylvia Young on the weekend, spending all my money. And I was like, great. So I was like, okay, Sylvia Young, if I'm doing the same thing at Brit School, I can leave that. So yeah, I started the Brit School when I was like 16, stayed till 19. And it was just literally the best like 3 years of my entire life.
okay. And what is your music style and genre?
I would say it's R&B and pop fused together. That's what I would say. I've always got like R&B roots. My favorite singers are Mariah and Toni Braxton, Whitney, Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson. All them greats. So yeah, I'm definitely influenced by their style of music. But I do love pop radio too. I love songs that sound like they're so easy to write, but
Hmm.
there is an art to writing a great pop song. People think that the songs that they hear are so catchy and quick and that anybody can do them, but there really is an art to writing a song that everybody's singing, and I really respect that.
Okay. So, speaking of the music that you like and today's music, what do you feel about today's music compared to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000 up until this point?
Good question. I like today's music. I feel like it represents the time that we're in. The
Hmm.
generations change. My favorite like time period is definitely the 90s and early 2000s. They had a R&B and pop fuse and flair that I don't think we're ever going to get back. Like the 90s, early 2000s was killing it with Ashanti, SWV, Ja Rule, Destiny's Child. Like the music was just on another level. But today's music, I do quite enjoy it, to be honest. Not as much as I enjoy the the music from the time period before, but I believe that it represents who we are now. The generation has changed.
Right.
We're much quicker to get things now. The internet, even like all the video girls that would be in the videos, that's changed. There used to be so many girls that were famous just for dancing in the videos, like for Jay-Z and all that stuff. They would like have reputable names just off that alone, like Melissa Ford, but we don't
Mm-hmm.
have powerful names like that in videos anymore because everything's just so quick and it's moving too fast. But yeah, I really enjoy Migos. I love Migos. I really like Ariana Grande. My favorite pop artist out now is probably Dua Lipa. She's a really good artist from London, but she's really big in America too. But yeah, I appreciate the time for what it is.
Okay. And what was your experience in the music industry? Because you mentioned you were with Warner Brothers in 2015. What was your experience in this industry?
It was interesting. It was like, I feel like when you're a singer, you care about the art and just singing and writing, and that's your only focus. But when you really get into the crux of the industry, you realize how the business is just as important as the music. So you really need to be on top of that. I was like discovered in a girl group that Warner were putting together. So it was a really good experience, but it opened my eyes to a lot of things about how everything works. It takes a lot of money to make a new artist, and everything needs to be like up and running. I remember a manager I met from Germany. I can't remember what company he works for when I went on a songwriting trip in Spain. And I remember him being like, in order to be a superstar, all of the stars have to align. It's not just how good you are with your music and your songwriting. You also need the best of the best manager. You also need the best of the best team, marketing that's pushing you. Everybody that is pouring into this artist needs to be on top of their game. Nobody can fall short to make an artist. That's why we have Rihanna, because her hairstylist, her songwriters, her vocal producer, her manager, everybody is the best of the best in the music industry. And that's how you get a result like that. So yeah, that's what I would say. Everybody needs to be like 10 toes down, going for 100%.
I definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you prefer being a solo artist compared to being in a group?
I
Because in a
definitely
group,
started.
it's definitely a different personality of
Most
different people.
definitely. That's so funny. I definitely started singing solo at like 12, 13. So that was always the goal. When I got invited to be in this group, I was down because my favorite artist of all time is Michael Jackson, and he started in the Jackson 5. I love Nicole Scherzinger. She started with the Pussycat Dolls, and Beyonce, who we all love, was in Destiny's Child. So I knew
Right.
the power of starting in a group and branching out on your own. That's always a possibility. So it didn't really faze me at the time because I know that you can have anything you want as long as you play the long game. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was a good experience. I know there's like power in numbers. Like look at Little Mix altogether. The numbers that they do, would they be doing that if they was 4 individual solo artists? But the
Right.
power that they have coming together brings out numbers to their stadium concert. So yeah, I respect the group thing. I respect it.
Okay. And do you think your experience helped you learn the business side of being in the music industry?
I was always a little bit privy to it before. I was like, before the group opportunity came about, I was already promoting my music on YouTube, having like adverts between all the other artists that have already like made the charts. I knew how to do adverts. I knew how to promote all my stuff already. But yeah, it made me more aware of the business, how crucial it is. I think I heard somebody say once that the music business is like 80% business, 20% music or something like that. So it
Hmm.
really, like, even if you have Thriller on your computer and you have no business, you might as well forget it because the business is so important to your success. How it's marketed, how it's packaged, how you get it out. Like, it's super, super important to be on top of your game. So yeah.
That definitely makes sense. Do you feel that Warner promoted you as equally as you promoted yourself, or do you feel that you promoted yourself better? Because we know a lot of people don't really like dealing with record companies. They start their own
Mm,
record label.
mm,
They push themselves because a lot of people get shelved and they've done
yeah.
great albums. And I've heard songs on YouTube that I've never heard before on the
Mm.
radio or anything. And I'm like, why did this song never come out? This is a beautiful song.
That is so funny. When our group was like picked up, it wasn't even like put out in a way.
Mhm.
Like, so the outside world never heard of us because we were still in the development stage. So yeah, we didn't even have a chance. If like,
Oh
in all
wow.
honesty, we didn't, and not in that sense of like we didn't have a chance to survive. We didn't have a chance to um like we didn't have a chance to show our music to the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it never
Right.
came out. Yeah. So we didn't go. We wasn't released. Basically, we was
So
in the development stage.
right. And we hear that a lot where artists, they put in the time and the hours in the
Mm.
studio and you never hear any of their music.
No, it's true. It's true. I mean, the independent game, you have to respect it. I mean, Nipsey Hussle, I believe he
Right.
was an independent artist. That's what I mean. Like, unless you have people going as hard for you as you go for yourself, it's not gonna align. So Nipsey Hussle knew on his own and with his own team that he put together, they was all 10 toes down for the Nipsey Hussle brand and the music, and that's why he got to where he got to. So yeah, I think record labels are definitely needed. I love them. I had a manager at Sony after the group disbanded. I respect them. They know a lot. They know what they're doing, but everybody needs to be on the same page. I would say that.
Definitely agree.
Hmm.
Now you are into interior designing. So how did you fall into that?
That's so funny. So at the time, my manager from Sony that picked me up 6 weeks after the group disbanded, he had a friend that was an interior designer, and he was like, I was like to him, I kind of just want to channel my creative energy elsewhere. And so he was like, oh, well, you should, I have a friend who's really into it, and you should go like check out her stuff. And so I kind of like put like aesthetics and rooms and designs I had done together, and she really liked it. So she kind of just like took me on board as a wingman in a way. She kind of liked my opinion because I represented the everyday person, and
Hmm.
that's why she liked it. Somebody that didn't really study it so heavily represents what the average person would kind of want in their house. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
She felt she looked at it more from a, what's the word I'm looking for? A technical background. So she would know all the angles and everything needed to be cut, and she would know what colors would bright up a room and everything in that. But she would ask me things just for an opinion in general, because something, and to like give her the view of liking something, not knowing why, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay. And is there a particular style that you bring into interior design?
I would say just fun, fresh, and young, really. I
Okay.
like colors. I like brightening up spaces. And yeah, I would say like I'm pretty fancy with like cushions and curtains. I love drapes and stuff like that. So yeah, anything that makes somewhere look ethereal, I'm super into.
Okay. And is this only in London or this
Yeah,
in other
just in
areas?
London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you are a very busy woman. So how do you balance between your career, family, personal time?
Ooh, I would say that I definitely am learning to be more present now. The group Bali trip that we went on with Shinoa, it really taught me to just live in the moment. So when I work, I focus on that, and when it's done, I leave that at work, and I just try and be present with everything I'm doing. Even when I'm watching like TV shows, sometimes I find myself like scrolling on my phone and
Hmm.
watching it at the same time, and I'm not taking in the information. I find myself rewinding the scene, and I've like decided to tell myself actively, stop that, stop that. So yeah, I try and put my phone away. I'll turn it off when I'm watching stuff and try to actively be present in everything I do. I think that's really important and has taught me how to have balance, really.
And speaking of the Bali trip, where I met you last
Mhm.
year, what
Yeah.
was your takeaways from that retreat?
Ooh, definitely. Staying present in the moment. To just believe in yourself was one of the main messages I gathered from that trip. That everything starts with who you are on the inside. Your outside world can be anything that you want it to be, as long as you believe in it internally first. I used to have, this is what I was saying to Shanoa, like my optimism used to be so extreme, especially as kids, you know, like because we haven't been through anything yet as kids, really. So we believe that anything can happen, and fairies exist in Disney movies, and kids aren't tainted in that way, which is why I love their wild sense of optimism. But
Mhm.
as you get older, reality starts to set in and people lose their sense of dreaming, I feel. But I've found a way to really just take my dreaming back. Like, you know, I never wanted to lose that. When things didn't work out the way I wanted to, sometimes I would be like, oh man, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. But yeah, Bali really taught me to reclaim back my inner dream, my inner 7-year-old, and to believe in myself, because that is the root of everything, I think.
And I think that is really a powerful statement that you just
Yeah.
said, which is true. We do get caught up in
Hmm.
when we get disappointed
Of course.
or whatever, we don't get that ideal
Yep.
job or
Yep.
ideal,
By a certain age, I haven't done this,
right.
I haven't done that.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, let that
Exactly.
go. Let that go. And we're all on our own timeline. We all have our own time zone. Social media makes us compare a lot when we're looking at other people and they have this and that and they're married at 30, and maybe you're single at 30 and you're upset because your best friend just got married. But you know, you will find the things for you when you align inside. And I've really learned to let go of trying to control everything in my life, because me worrying, it's done nothing but cause stress. Like,
Right.
what have that's what I realized. Like, what have I ever achieved from worrying?
Right.
Nothing. So I might as well just let go and let God and just do my best all the time. As long as I do my best, I can lay my head at night and say I gave it my all. Everything else is out of my control, as long as I show up for myself.
That is so true. And we do get caught up looking at social media and we look at couples and like, oh, they're so happy, but
Hmm.
how do we know that they're really
Thank
happy?
you. Thank
and
you. You don't
and
know.
they're not, faking for the gram. So those are things that we have to consider.
Hmm.
We have to look at our own lives and find our own happiness within
That's it.
ourselves
That's
and
it.
not from other people and other
No,
things.
it's
So
not out there. It's inside. It's inside.
right.
And I've realized, like, you can't, friendships and relationships. I used to have a bad habit. This is what I was saying on the Bali trip, of like, if anything ever happened bad with a friend, even if they was like not serving my growth, I would always find myself missing them and going back to them because they've been my friend for this amount of time.
Mm.
Or I miss the memories because it's been this long. And hanging out with you guys in Shanoa really taught me to let go of things that don't serve me, and that it will always be replaced if you have an abundant mindset. So yeah, as long as I don't think of lack and I think of abundance is everywhere, I will always be okay. It doesn't matter who you lose or who comes with you. As long as you stay on the right path, the right people will show up for you. That's what I believe.
And that is definitely true and definitely deep. Um, because we do that. We go back and like, oh well, I've
Yeah.
been friends with this person since
Yeah.
elementary school, middle
Hmm.
school, high school,
Yeah.
college.
No, you know
Oh, we
things, they're not
can
fitting you.
right. We can fix it. I just know if they're not really benefiting you, not
Yeah.
saying that, not to, if it's little minor arguments, okay, you
Oh
can work
yeah.
that out.
Communication,
Right,
communication.
communication. But if it's something that somebody is continuously doing to
Yes.
you,
And it's like
uh,
against your moral character. No.
exactly.
Mhm.
So that's definitely important. So, yes.
Mhm.
So, what would you recommend to other people who are interested in the music industry or interior designing?
I would say, I think this can apply to both industries and anything you want to do. Do your best, show up for yourself, and don't rely on anyone. I've realized that things will come for you when you go so hard for yourself. People will want to jump on your train. You can't be amazing and expect people to be like, hey, I want to do this for you, I want to do that for you, if you're not doing it for yourself. You
Mm.
have to do for yourself all the time and build your own stuff. Build your own stuff and people will want to come on board. It's scary and you think like you're out here alone and no one ever wants to help you. But that's where you got to turn on that abundance mindset and show up for yourself, and people will just start popping up out of the woodworks. I think that will apply to anything. Just go hard for yourself all the time and then things will work out. That's what I believe.
That is definitely a good one. Speaking of that, the industry is full of a lot of scams, people coming
Mm,
up, saying, hey, I can make you a millionaire,
mhm,
whatever.
mhm.
And I'm sure you've probably experienced people and trying to, decipher who can I really trust and I don't know about you.
That's so funny. That's a good point. All the people I've had in the music industry have actually been really nice people. It's crazy. Like I know I've heard some horror stories about oh my gosh, like managers asking you to pay them up front.
Right.
That is not a thing. Like even in modeling, acting, music, you should never pay people to represent you. So yeah, that's definitely a scam. Nobody has ever actually, I think I remember when I was like 19 or something, a company that I'd sent a video to was asking for payment. But even I knew from then, due to going to the Brit school and having the teachers that taught Adele and stuff like that, that you don't pay for representation. So yeah, you've got to learn the business side of things. And yeah, I think I got lucky in a way with just having the majority of people in my industry being on the good side of the industry. I remember like going to LA when I was about 21, and I remember like printing off 100 CDs. Well, here's the story. It's so funny. There's a songwriter called Ryan Tedder, I believe, from One Republic, and he wrote Halo for Beyonce and a bunch of other amazing songs, like It's Too Late to Apologize with Timberland. He's just
Hmm.
like one of the best songwriters of all time. And I watched a video of him talking at something called ASCAP, which is like an American um, conference thing for songwriters and singers and performers. So he was talking at it, giving all of his life advice. And I was like, do you know what? I want to go wherever he was. I want to be in this crowd and I want to be meeting all these people because there were so many people after him speaking that were super famous and successful. And I remember I Googled it and the tickets came out the next day. And I was like, oh my God, this is a sign. So I like bought this ticket. I had my plan to print off 100 CDs and I did it. And my mom was like, you're not going by yourself. And I was like, I'm going regardless. She was like, oh my God. And she came with me. And I literally remember like it was for 3 days. We stayed at the hotel that the conference was in the hall of. It was like the most amazing trip ever. I remember like after we would have like a lunch break or whatever in like the main hall room. I had my 50 CDs. My mama had my other 50. We both worked each side of the room. I remember giving them to like the biggest A&Rs, some of the biggest people in the music industry that have written some of the biggest country songs, represented the biggest artists. Like once a lady discovered Rihanna, and I gave my well, not discovered Rihanna, but a lady like really worked for her when she was coming up. She really championed for her. And I remember her cousin being like to me, oh, that's my cousin. I was like, what? Because I couldn't get to give my CD to her. And he took it and he went back into the private room she was in and he gave it to her. And I was like, oh my gosh, so can you see when you meet people, it will like give you a shortcut into meeting like different people. But yeah, I had like all those CDs, met great A&Rs, met an American manager there who I stayed with in his house when I went back a few months after with one of my really good friends. Like he literally put me and my friend up so I could record for like 10 days in LA with all these universal songwriters. So yeah, I've met some great people in the music industry. I would say I was one of the lucky ones.
Wow, that is very impressive.
Yeah, long story, but it was interesting.
So, how do you provide self care for yourself?
Ooh, well, I don't try. I do read and only consume positive information. That is something that has been key to staying in like my happy, precious space.
Hmm.
Um, there's a lot out there on social media, but you can filter who you follow. If something doesn't make you feel good, unfollow it. It doesn't matter. Even if it's your friend and you don't want to unfollow because you know it's going to like bring up an awkward conversation, just mute them. Like
Right.
honestly, if they're posting stuff that you don't agree with and it's like stressing out your heart, like just mute it. You don't have to see their story or their post. And yeah, unfollow if you also do want to. But yeah, you can filter all the information that you take in your life. You are in control of your narrative. And once I really understood that, I've only fed myself with positive affirmations, books, self-knowledge, and yeah, just everything like that, building myself up from the inside out. That's how I really take care. I love like long baths and bath bombs and scrubs and all that stuff I spend way too much money on. And yeah, just, like a little bit of luxury, but a lot of internal self-care, words of affirmation, and being your biggest hype man.
Mm. So, I know a lot of people listen to music as a way of release, as a way of
Hmm.
wellness. So, how do you feel that music, writing, and designing all tie into wellness?
Ooh, music is my first love. Uh, I don't think I'll love anything as much as I love music. It's like a deep passion of mine. From a young age, like hearing certain songs would always like trigger certain emotions. Like I can remember where I was when I heard a certain song, if you get what I'm saying. Like
Hmm.
nothing impacts my life as much as music does. The songwriters that I adore, like Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder, like they write from a place of such honesty and integrity that it fuels me from the inside out. I always said like Michael Jackson, he's one of the key people next to my mum that really made me believe I could do anything. Like when I saw him on stage and the way he broke racial barriers, I remember when he was saying like they wouldn't play him on TV because of the color of his skin. But when he broke down those barriers because of Billie Jean and stuff like that, and like was like the first black artist on MTV. When I saw Michael Jackson, he represented to me that if you put in the work and you show up for yourself and you just never give up and you always find a way. I know it's hard, but no matter what, if you have a dream and you are laser focused on it, you can find a way to infiltrate and get through. And yeah, like even like now I don't sing as much as I used to. Um, Probably just because it just got really tedious. But
Hmm.
yeah, there was always like a back door to get into, like even if I was to go through another career route to get back to singing, it would lead me there. Do you get what I'm saying? Everything you want
Hmm.
to do is not going to be sometimes the way you think you're going to get through. And that's a really important lesson I learned. Like I thought I would be a singer by going for the music industry, getting signed, and it would be boom, boom, boom. But sometimes taking another path might lead you back to where you eventually saw yourself. So yeah, it's very important to just never give up on yourself, even if things take a turn, and just believe that anything is possible. If you have that mindset and that attitude, it will really get you through any storms. It will.
Okay. And do you feel that you will come back to music at some point?
I think so. Do you know, one of my biggest dreams is to do a Disney voiceover. Like I really want to do that. So yeah, I hope to come back to music. Like legit, it sounds crazy, but like the Princess and the Frog, where she's doing the
Hmm.
voiceover and she's singing at the same time. I think her name is Princess Tiana. Like that is the dream, to do the voiceover for a main character and do the singing. That is the goal. So yeah, I'm on it.
And I think that was the introduction of Anika Rose in the
Yes.
business of becoming an actress and people
Yeah.
knowing that she was a singer. So
Yeah.
I can definitely see you doing something like that. And
Thank
Rihanna
you.
also has done it as well, Mary J. Blige, Beyonce.
Hey, I
So,
love it. I love it. So yeah, I am down to sing anytime. The dream of Disney is still alive and kicking.
yes, it is. Okay, so how are you staying positive and encouraged during COVID-19?
Ooh, during this time especially, I'm making sure to really focus on positive information that I'm consuming because it's everywhere. Like I don't know why I have this alert on my phone, but I don't know why I've never turned it off. And I know I can turn it off, but every morning I get these alerts that like them swipey alerts, and it will say like how many people have been affected by COVID-19, and it's
Oh,
super
wow.
stressful. Yeah, but every day, literally since this pandemic has started, I will get this little like bubble come up on my phone saying the number in the UK, and I would just always swipe it, and I was just like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, when you watch too much of that stuff and you involve yourself in so much grief, it can take a very like serious effect on your health. So
Hmm.
be aware of everything that's going on, take care of yourself, love yourself, stay protected. But when things get too stressful, tap out, take a break, and just focus on things that lift you up. So I spend a lot of time in my garden, in nature, like walking barefoot on the grass, being rooted in the earth, and yeah, just enjoying the sunshine and getting vitamin D. Yeah, if you can go outside with your mask on and walk around a little bit, social distancing from people, do that. And just, yeah, ring your friends on the phone that give you positive vibes. And yeah, stay positive. This is a hard time for people, especially being indoors. My heart goes out to everybody that's like not in a happy situation indoors, because even I feel like so trapped sometimes. Like I want to go out, but you know, we're all in this together, which is really true. I would be a lot more like annoyed if I saw, if it was like just the UK. Do you get what I'm
Right.
saying? Like if everybody
Right.
else in the world was out enjoying and it was just this country or just America and everybody else was out enjoying, I could see how people could be like, what the hell is happening? Like, why is it
Right.
just us? But because we're all in the same situation, it kind of softens the blow a little bit. Like nobody is out there enjoying. So, you know, it is what it is. Like we're all in this together.
Definitely, definitely. So, what does wellness mean to you as a millennial? Because I know you do a lot of traveling before this whole pandemic happened.
It's true. I was all over the place. Wellness means to me, hmm, I would say knowledge of self,
Mm,
unlearning bad habits, holding yourself accountable, being filled up with love and spreading love, and just being a good person. That's what wellness means to me. Like if we all individually focused on like unlearning bad habits, understanding why we do things the way we do, understanding why we react to certain things the way we do, loving people no matter what background they come from. If we all focused on just love and wellness and seeing everybody for who they are as a person, I really believe that we would change the world if we just spread love to each other. That's what wellness means to me. Just having good vibes for everybody as much as you can all of the time. Even when things get difficult, you know, we have each other. We have each other. So when we stick together, I believe we can do anything.
mm, that is a really good answer. I definitely agree. So, what is next for Anita Nicole? Is there a podcast coming soon? What's
Ooh,
next?
listen, girl, when does this go out? I'm so excited because I have my season 2 of my podcast coming out. So everybody listening, I have season 1 that was done. That's my first ever season. And then now I'm working on season 2. I've got about 3 episodes left to record, but it's bigger and better. Some of my guests, I don't even want to spoil it, so I won't say, but like some of them like literally made me cry. They're like so important to me to have got them. So I'm super excited to release it. I really need to hurry up and get the rest of the free guests because I want it to be like a certain number. I don't know why I'm
Hmm.
like that, but I just want to hit a certain number of episodes. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, I can't wait to release it. My podcast season 2 is definitely coming up next. What else am I working on? I just want to kind of go on holiday after this is all over. My birthday's in December, so I'm really hoping they will let us out by then. And yeah, just traveling, good vibes, the development of my podcast and my Anita Nicole brand. And yeah, spreading love. That's what's next for me. Just bettering myself every day. That's what's next.
And I agree with you on the travel because Anita's birthday is the day after mine. So Capricorn's here. Um, well, this will go out today for
Yay.
people to hear. And of
Yay.
course, you will get a copy of it as well.
Yes.
So, and also every way that they can reach you and follow you will also be tagged as well. So I
Yay.
thank you so much for your time because it's like what 7:37 in London.
Yeah, it
So
is. You're on it. Good stuff.
thank you, thank you, thank you so much
Well, thank
for
you,
allowing
Lachlan, for your
me to
time.
interview you and the good vibes
Anytime.
because what you said was very powerful and mindset and how we think and how we
Yeah,
interpret
man.
things.
I've learned that. It's just literally, and like trust me, guys, I know. Like when my stuff didn't work out with Warner the first time round, you would have literally thought I was dying. Like I remember like being so depressed, like crying for 6 weeks. Like legit. Like I remember my mom being like, "Anita, you cannot give up on your life at 21 years old." I like
Right.
having people like that in your corner. I know everybody doesn't have somebody like that, but so if you can try and resource information like that via books or the stuff that you listen to on YouTube, like get that inner voice out of your head of doubt and listen to positive affirmations and stuff that feed into you, that change your mindset. With a mindset of steel, nothing can affect you. I've literally learned that. I went from being so belligerent about a situation that I had no control over, to just believing that if I apply myself, the chips are going to fall where they're going to lay. That's it. Show up for yourself all the time, and you can lay your head at night and just be like, I did my best. That's it. Focus on what you can control. That's it.
That is so powerful and so true in so
Mm-hmm.
many ways. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely thank you again. And when your next big thing comes, I will definitely have you back.
Hey, thank you so much, Nadine. I appreciate your time. Thank you for asking me to be a guest. I support your work, and yeah, all the great things you're doing for the community. It's wonderful to see. So I encourage you always.
All right, thank you.
You're more than welcome. Bye.
Bye.